blowing money fast on this side. I think I'm Big Meech.
What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ajiona and we are locked in. This is the recap for the season finale of BMF Season 3, Episode 10. Now, we've been waiting to see when BMF actually set foot in Atlanta and opened up shop. Well, we getting the vehicles back this week. We're getting rid of Remy Ransom. And let me tell you, Meech and Terry have bigger sights over the nation and not just the Southeast and up in the Midwest. Now, before we jump into this, we break down this last episode. If you like BMF content, live after show discussions, tune in tonight, 2 p.m. Eastern. Then hit your subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button, and we're on that road to 50,000 subscribers. So each and every one of you, I appreciate y'all. And hey, if it wasn't for y'all, it wouldn't be any me. So let's go ahead and jump into it. This is the recap of BMF Season 3, the series finale. Starting the episode off, we see young Meech and young Terry. Now they come in the room and they're arguing. We're wondering what they're arguing about. Well, Meech has an idea of getting in the dope game because Pat, you remember him from season 1, he's giving them an opportunity to start moving some rock. Now Terry is saying, I don't know about this, man. Stuff is kind of crazy and it can get wild out here. But Meech is saying, nah, we're going to continue to do this. But we need to find a better spot to hide this rock. Now, Terry is saying, how about your locker at school? And we hear Meech say, oh, no, not the locker. I'm not going back to school. I'm dropping out. Well, Terry hears everything that Meech is saying. And, of course, this is his big brother, so he's going to follow his lead. And, well, the dope game is the decision that they chose. Down in Atlanta, we see Meech and Terry and the rest of the crew pulling up to get these vans that the Red Dogs took. But once they get to the impound, they find out that the vans are being driven off. And that's because Remy Ransom and his crew, they got police in their pocket. So they went to the guy, the guard on duty, and got the keys from him, paid him a little bit of bread. And as they're driving off in the vans, Meech, Terry, Duffy, they see it. Remy flips them off, and he's dipping off with their vans, and they work. Now, Meech is upset, and this is where we find out that Remy has a couple of connections, and he is the one that actually called the Red Dogs to get the vans taken away. Meech, Duffy, and the rest of the BMF down in Atlanta, they're going to head to JR Crickets because they're still trying to get everyone on the same page so they can make it happen in Atlanta. Now, Terry does get a phone call, and we find out that Sterling says Hoop got popped and Hoop actually survived. So Terry is on the first thing smoking. He gets back up here, and we see Hoop, and he's trying to fight whatever little strength he has to get up so he can go do some sliding on Henry, because Henry told them that Terry is next. Now Terry hears this and he's like, hey, chill, Hoops, we'll handle that. But he also tells Sterling, I want to get Henry myself. I want to get hands on with her and eliminate her from the game. Jen goes to talk to Emerson's dad. Now Kobe is on the live, and when she goes in here, they're trying to use him, since he's a councilman with his political pull, to try to tell, hey, there's some crooked stuff going on at the police station. Now, Jen isn't giving up too much information, but she is also providing him, hey, there is some corrupt stuff going down. Now, at this point, we don't know what side he's on. Is he a legitimate politician, or is he really out here being crooked? Now, one thing we know about the 90s, 9 times out of 10, if you got a little bit of pull, a little bit of power, you're more than likely on the crooked side. But Jen is just saying, Emerson was such a good woman. She was a good partner. She was like a sister. I want to get revenge for her any way possible. Then out of nowhere, we have a change of events. Now, we know Henrietta was born Henrietta, but she goes by, or they go by, Henry. And we see Henry start to cut off all of her hair. All of it. And now we got us a bald head Henry. And we know bald head is the devil emoji sign. At the Flenory house, Charles and Lucille are finally going through with it. Divorce papers are on the table. And, well, it's a tough pill to swallow at this point in your relationship. But humans, they grow apart. It's part of Mother Nature. It's life. And they have to do the unthinkable and sign these divorce papers. It hurts them both. Meech has bigger plans to take in over Atlanta. He needs to get his vans back. And we hear our girl Angel say, well, you trying to start a new life down here? How about you and I just run away and get away from all of this? But Meech, he has bigger visions. He has bigger plans. And she even says Remy's not going to let him make Atlanta his home. But he's like, man, F Remy. I got a plan and I'm going to stick to it. So one thing you need is a plan. And the other thing is you need that drive to execute it. And right now, that's what Meech is telling Angel. I'm here to stay. Not for a short time, but for a long time. Terry has a plan to take out Henry. Now, Sterling said he ain't no hitter, and we all know that he ain't no hitter. So what he's doing is telling Henry's old plug, the Calderans, hey, y'all tell her a time and place that y'all want to work with her again, and I'll handle the rest. And if not, I'll cut your supply off. So once they agree on this, they leave, and in comes Charles. Charles, he's sad, down and out, hands in his pocket. So he's either asking for money or he wants you to feel sorry for him. And he tells Terry, him and Lucille have signed the divorce papers and he has nowhere to go. Detective Jen is over at Henry's house, still undercover, still has a recording device inside of the cane, the dragon's mouth. Now, while they're sitting here chilling, you can see Jen trying to ask for some information, but right before she gets that information, a phone call goes through. Henry goes over and answering, it's her dad, Blaze, and he's telling her that the woman she's messing with is actually Detective Jen, and she was talking to Amberson's dad. So she gets off the phone and she starts to choke Jen out. Now remember, there's a recording device, and inside of the vehicle, Detective Brian is listening. Detective Brian comes in here, Jen fights her off, and now we have us a shootout. Jen runs away, Henry gets the bucking, pop, pop, pop. In comes Detective Brian. Now he only has a 6-shooter, maybe a 5. We aren't for sure, but we know at one point he shoots about 10 to 11 shots out of one gun. Henry gets hit in the leg. Henry is limping off, trying to get up out of here. So Bryant does save Jen. Jen, I don't know how she got up out of there, but she fought her way out, a little elbow to gut, and man, you can get up out of any jam. So Bryant does save Jen. Lucille ends up going over Dr. Reese's house. And well, you know, they've been getting closer to each other and they've been, wanna get to know you. And once she gets in there, Dr. Reese got it all laid out. Rose petals leading from the front door to the bed. And you know how them, when love is in the air, you know how them lovebirds can get. They get straight to it. He came to the door with just a robe on. Lucille, dress came off. And well, adults did what adults do. After the vans were taken by Remy, Meech had to come up with a plan. Now his little cousin told him, hey, JR Crickets is where we can all meet up at. Meech goes up there and he meets with Sharp. Now Sharp is saying, what are you doing here? You got nice rims on your ride, but you don't really have no work or anything. Now Meech is saying, that's where you're wrong. Remy may have stole my van 2 days ago, but if he actually got in there and got my work, then you would be here supplying everybody. But you're not. So if you work with us, then I can guarantee you I can get you the purest work that you've ever seen. Now this guy Sharp, he's kind of hesitant. He sees how Meech is rolling, but until he can see the physical product, he ain't gonna be with it. So he's looking at Meech like, I don't know about that. But Meech is like, trust me. The saying the grass isn't always greener on the other side couldn't be more truer when it comes to Lucille and Dr. Reese. Well, they do what they do, and he ensures that he gets him a W for the night. And then he tells her, before we move on with this relationship, because she's talking about moving forward with him, he says, I have to be honest with you. I've been engaged for the past 2 years, but I've just been scared to go through with it. Lucille hears this and she hops up out the bed so quick. And Dr. Reese is like, Lucille, don't leave. She's saying, I'm not going through this, not with another cheater, and I definitely won't be the side woman. So this relationship is over faster than it started. Sharp takes Meech and the rest of BMF to go get the vehicles from the warehouse. Now, when they get there, Meech is like, I just need the keys so I can get out of here because I'm not opening my truck and showing y'all how to get in here. So Sharp said, well, I can't give you the keys until I see the product is real. So they make him turn around. They put a Thule to his head so he won't turn around and watch. Meech goes and gets these bricks. So now Sharp sees that the work is real and Meech held up his end of the bargain. The vehicles are locked down and no one can get into it. So now it's up to them to get the vehicles out of here. But as they leave, Techwood shows up because the guy Froggy was actually out there watching Sharp meeting with Meech at JR Crickets. So now Techwood, led by Remy Ransom, They try not to let Meech leave because they already stole the vans and they want to work out the inside of it. But one thing you know about Meech and BMF, they not backing down to anybody. So they start shooting at Techwood. Techwood starts shooting back. One of the dudes get hit by the van. Meech and them, they get the hell up out of here. Well, we did catch one body, but Meech, he wasn't sticking around to find out who else was going to drop. We get the vans back. Out of nowhere, Lucille comes back to the house the next morning. Charles is downstairs and he's fixing up the walls. Since they got a divorce, he's about to move out. He already told Terry, I don't have anywhere to go. Now, Lucille, she's like, well, Charles, I don't think me and Dr. Reese are going to work out like that. So Charles is looking at it like, whoa, okay. So are we back together? She said, well, no, I really been asking the Lord, how can we like be friends and stay on the same path together? And he's like, well, did it work? She said, yeah. But you can see she's kind of hesitant on letting Charles just leave this relationship because she thought she was going to move forward with Dr. Reese. Well, they hug and you can see that both of them are hurt, but this is the decision that they made as adults. At the warehouse, Henry is sitting there. She shot up and Blaze and Unc show up. Now, Blaze, he gave her the heads up and she tells him that Detective Jen actually got away. So she dropped the ball and fumbled. You're supposed to tie up those loose ends. Well, Blaze says that she's always been a mistake since the time she was born. And now she's like, you got to take that back. I'm no longer Henrietta. You need to call me Henry, and pulls a gun out on Blaze. Now, Blaze, he's looking at her like, man, I'm taking over your organization. You're done. And put that gun away. And he doesn't call her Henry. Well, she gets very, very emotional. And he said this is why he didn't want women working, because they do get emotional. Well, she lays him out. Pow, 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 pow. And inside the vehicle, Jen and Bryant, they heard it all on the recording. Jen and Bryant call for backup, and boom, they pull a kick door while they trying to get rid of Blaze's body. They put Blaze's daughter, Henry, in handcuffs. And well, Jen comes in and says, those are the same handcuffs of my partner that you unalived. Then Detective Bryant comes in and throws salt on the wound and tells her, I killed your cousin. Kind of like Scar told Simba, I killed Mufasa. Henry spits at Bryant, and then we hear them both talking about, well, I can get my badge back. So they finally took down Henry, and this is what I was always suspecting, that they come together and either take down Blaze or they take down Henry. But this will work. Over in Techwood, Meech is meeting up with Sharp and everybody else, and he's like, listen, in BMF, we don't fight amongst ourselves. I get money, you get money. I get girls, you get girls. I get a car, you get a car. Everybody eats in BMF. And Sharp is like, let's get down with BMF because I seen what they do and Meech ain't lying. In comes Remy Ransom. He's like, man, you got some nerve coming over here. But all the Techwood turns on him. They pull guns on him and tells him, we don't want you in Techwood. We don't want to depend on you anymore. We don't want to get anything from you. And we definitely ain't trying to hear from you. Now they make Remy run up out of here. And now Meech got the city on lock. Because not only does Sharp have Techwood, Sharp has a pipeline down in Alabama. And by the end of the night, not many words are needed. Well, they catch Remy Ransom at a red light. And just like a red light, you stop. And this is the end of the line for Remy Ransom. They set him up with a guy selling water. Someone puts the toolie up to the noggin. And well, they turn the lights off. R.I.P. Remy Ransom, the second body. 1 week later, we see Meech setting up shop. We trying to get down to Miami, but we got Atlanta. We got Alabama. We got St. Louis. We got Detroit. We got Cleveland. We got Bleak from Cleveland meeting Jay Push from St. Louis. And Meech tells them, listen, this is where you're going to pick up the work. This is where you're going to drop off the money. Dope goes out. Money comes in. Let's get this money and let's get up out this city and make it happen. Everyone has their own location. Get there. Hey, and just bring me back the money. Well, things aren't going as good for Henry. She's in jail and she's supposed to be in here for life. Well, it looks like 1 week later, taking a shower, she ends up getting shanked. She ain't paying attention to nothing because Henry doesn't have a flamethrower. Henry doesn't have the protection of her crew around her. She gets shanked up, and while she's sitting on the ground, old girl she used to be involved with comes up and says a special friend sent this to you. R.I.P. to Henry. That's body number 3. Terry goes over to Wanda's house and they're trying to make up for this relationship because at some point it went left. We know he's been dealing with Marquisha and he's never got a return phone call from her ever since she left Miami. So what does he do? Go back to his family and tells her, I see my parents getting divorced. I want to be here. I want to do more for us. Now she's enrolling into cosmetology school because she wants to do more. It's the 90s. She wants to make some money. Now Terry wants to be the one to provide for her, kind of so he can have a, I won't say a hold, but he can oversee what she's doing on a day to day. Now she's saying, no, I'm going to do what I got to do. You do what you got to do, and let's make this family work. Meech goes to see Angel at the Platinum Palace. Now, turns out this is her last day working. She got a vision board. She's about to go out there. She's trying to get an after school building so she can have the little girls come through so they ain't got to go through what she went through, not having a family, not having structure. And Meech is like, man, you know, you can see he's kind of hurt because him and Angel, she's been holding him down. But she has a plan of her own and she just wants to leave Atlanta because she messes with it. But tomorrow night is her last night. She needs to go on and do bigger and better things. Now, Meech, he already admitted that this is his home, but he supports Angel. So it is what it is. The last thing we see from Brian and Jen, them sitting around, seeing that they brought down all the corruption. We hear Jen saying she's going to go to LA, take down some Asian gangs. And then she's also saying, well, if you're going to move, sell this house and move down south, let's start cleaning it up. But Brian tells her, no, this is something I have to do on my own. Basically, he wants to go in there and reminisce one last time of Kevin's room and just think about all the good times. Try not to think of any of the bad times and leave Detroit on a good note. Because now his next mission is to take out Meech and Terry for everything that they've done in the city and to his family. Sister Lucille has become the assistant pastor of the church. She just got inaugurated today. And now this evening they have a family dinner. Nikki didn't put together a nice little meal, but Charles comes downstairs and remember, he's about to go on tour. Now he says, hey, I got to leave now because the bus came a little bit earlier than we thought it was and we got to dip out. Now Lucille, she's kind of hurt. They said friends forever, but Charles is about to leave and go on with his life. Her two boys are gone. Nikki is becoming a young woman right in front of her eyes. So Nikki leads them in prayer because she sees her mom is hurt. And Lucille just has to deal with the fact that this was the decision you made. Meech and Terry look at their operation and how they're going to expand it. And man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. They got a half a ton of dope. Meech has a plan to put a half a ton of dope in every single city that they're working in. St. Louis, Detroit, Cleveland. She brings them up to Kansas City, Atlanta. Terry's like, man, all right. And as we heard at the beginning of the episode, he's down for whatever Meech is down with because Meech has the vision. Terry is like, well, I don't always want to be in Meech's shadow, but Meech is the face of BMF. And we heard Sterling say, hey, you should just play the background and move in the shadows. No one will ever see you coming. BMF is at the club celebrating. Of course, it's got to be the Platinum Palace. It's Angel's last night. We see Deion Sanders in the club. He comes over and he tells Meech, you got to separate Deion from Primetime. You got to separate Demetrius from Big Meech. You can't let everyone know what you're doing. And he also tells them, come on over to my club 21, Club 21. But as they're sitting in here, they look around and they see Javier. And Javier, he's pacing around and he tells them, Loco got arrested in Mexico. He only trusts Meech. He needs y'all to come down there and try to figure out how we can get him out. Now, Terry is hesitant, but Meech is like, dude, this is our only connect. We got to do this, Terry. We got to figure out a way. The brothers make it down to Mexico. Now, they don't have a plan at this point, but Meech is using the restroom. Terry's still trying to call Marquisha. He's like, man, get off that phone. Of course, there's no service out here. Terry doesn't know what they're about to do next because they don't know nobody. The cartels run the government. It's just a wild, wild west just down in the south or the border in Mexico. And Meech is saying, when have we ever cared about the law, Terry? He's like, well, you're right. And then you hear older Terry start to narrate. Meech always had us on an adventure, no matter what. It may have been dangerous, but if we were together, we would make it happen. And that's the end of episode 10, and that's the finale. All right, there you go. The finale of season 3 BMF. Let me know what you think down below. And is Brian going to catch up with them in season 4, or is Terry and Meech about to be down in Atlanta parlaying and getting Loco out like they got El Chapo out up under the jail? Let me know what you think. I'm Modai J. Again, tonight we will have the after show, 2 p.m. Eastern, roughly 3 to 4 hours, where we talk about each individual character. My name is Modai J. In case you didn't know, we on that road to 50,000 subscribers. So if you don't see this at 100 likes, hit that like button. I love y'all. I'm out.